Hello, it's Stuart, the Unrepentant Atheist, back with another clip from This Is the Line. You can find a link in the description. And this was quite a strange call. A lot of us who follow Matt know that his basis for morality is well-being. And somebody's phoned in saying that he's indifferent to his own well-being. And that for him, tradition is the most important basis of morality. He's actually said that if it was tradition in society to be kicked in the testicles, he'd be happy to be kicked in the testicles just to uphold that tradition. So let's just pick up the call with about 5 minutes to go, where sort of starts to get a bit more interesting. He sounds like a troll. I don't know what you think, but anyway, let's listen to it.
Sure. So if you get sick, does that impact society?
No, I'd just be replaced.
Yeah, but if you're replaced, that replacement has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, so Matt is obviously trying to establish the basic principle that it's in the interest of society. His well-being is not only in his own interest, but in the interest of society.
Yeah, so but like I'm not the only person welding. There's a lot of us.
Yes, I understand that there's more. I'm not suggesting you're the lone person, but if you get sick, that becomes an inconvenience for somebody else. You've got to call in sick. Your boss then has to call and find a replacement, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not you are sick or well impacts the lives of others, correct?
That's right.
Now, it's not going to be necessarily a devastating blow to those other people, but because it impacts their lives, your life has some impact on society, right?
That would be right, yeah.
Now, when you drive to work, do you wear a seatbelt?
No.
Well, I could have put £100 on him saying no to that answer, no, because if he says yes, then Matt's just going to say, well, then you obviously value your own well-being. So he was obviously going to answer no. And to be honest with you, I think on the balance of probabilities, I don't really think I believe him. In today's world, with all the public safety information and everything, you'd have to be almost insane with self-harm not to wear a seatbelt.
Okay. When you cross the street, do you look both ways?
Well, when I'm in a more urban area, but I kind of live out in the country. So the answer to your question is yes. I'm sorry.
Why do you bother to look both ways?
Like I've actually, that's what I've been thinking about lately. Because like I really feel like I just don't really care about that sort of thing. And I just kind of view society kind of like a statue that we're building. And I want it to be a pretty statue. So like, I don't know.
Why?
What a liar. He knows full well the reason he looks left and right is because he doesn't want to suffer death or extreme pain or serious injury from obviously being hit by a motor vehicle. What an absolute liar he is.
Why do you want it to be a pretty statue?
Well, because I like that idea way better than like a growing tree, because I want society to stay the same. I think that the ideal society would be one that was permanent.
Well, if society stayed the same, then let's say it stayed the same as it was in the Old Testament times. We'd still have I appreciate that there still is slavery in the world, but we would see slavery in Western countries, and it would be a fairly general thing. Plus summary executions, etc.
Okay, so should, for example, women be considered equal in your society?
Well, I think that if you ask me right now, I would say yes. However, if you were to ask me in the past before that had changed, I would say that it should not be changed because changing the
Okay.
established social order creates chaos.
I'm actually exhausted already.
So he's saying that if he'd been asked the question in biblical times when women were not sort of equal with men, officially and by law and everything, he would have argued that it should have stayed the same. So I presume that he doesn't believe that women should be equal with men.
That's not for real.
When you say something that is so stupid as to say, if you ask me that now, I would say yes. But if you ask me that before that changed, literally, as soon as you say now, that already implies that at some point it changed and your view used to be different. So adding in that rather pedantic thing, I can't take you seriously, Jackson, at all. I cannot remotely take you seriously.
I'm curious, based on like the first example you brought, and Jackson, 1 second. Based on on some of the first example you brought, if a person is a negative impact on society or a negative impact on the world, should they be removed from the world?
Only if it's the established tradition to do so.
What a load of shit.
Are you the chattel slavery guy?
Yeah, I was the guy that called about an hour ago. Yeah.
And you
The
said,
one that talked about Haiti?
but you've called in the past and defended chattel slavery.
Not on this show, but on Talk Heathen.
Oh. Well,
Okay.
Congratulations, because this will be the last call you make to any of the shows on the line.
Yeah, Jackson, let me just tell you this. It's weird to have a theist call in and present the type of nihilism that atheists are often given, that nothing matters, so we should only hold traditions, or I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, I'm glad that most theists aren't as full of shit as you are.
Yep.
And I genuinely don't actually think you are. I don't think you live your life the way you are presenting what you're saying is a good model to live your life. I think you are full of shit from the ground up.
Yep.
Well, like, I'm trying to live my life that
Yeah, I don't
Goodbye.
care. If you hadn't.
Okay, so somebody was bound to call in and challenge Matt on well-being as a basis for morality and say, well, I don't care about well-being. I think people have actually in the past, as a kind of devil's advocate. And he said, well, will you look left and right when you cross the road? I think he's been down this road before with people, but it is hard to take people seriously. So I'll move on to another clip in a moment, just to say, if any of you are still watching, obviously I'm a YouTube creator, and I've been notified that videos that have got profanity on them will get minimal monetization. So I noticed that Matt was swearing there. I don't know if Matt and Jimmy Snow are aware of that. If they're monetizing their channels, which I think they are, then I think that they should be aware of it. And obviously, I suppose they can put their money where their mouth is if they want to. If they want to stand by their principles, and obviously the most important thing to them is just freedom of expression and the way they present their show. And swearing is obviously an important part of that. I very rarely swear on not because I'm against swearing as such, but it's just something I don't really feel like doing. I do now and again when I get really angry. I really get angry with something, but the monetization rules won't affect my channel because, to be honest with you, with me having fairly low traffic, I mean the amount of money I make out of YouTube is just about enough to buy a coffee and a brownie in Starbucks every week or something like that. So it's of no consequence to me. So I will continue making content with Matt swearing and whatever. So I'll just be interested to see though whether they kind of tone it down a bit when they see their earnings start to drop. Okay, I'll be back again with another video soon. Thanks for supporting my channel and thanks for watching this video. Bye for now.